Hi, welcome back. Hi, welcome back to Healthy Ambitions. I'm Dr. Tammy, and I'm here with Dr. Patrick McMullen this week, and we are talking about human growth and development. And I'm hearing a little beep in the background. I don't know what that is.
Oh, you know what that is?
What is that?
My cell phone.
Oh, do you think it could be someone important?
Not in my life. No.
Well, we'll just let it ring then. I usually forget to turn mine off.
Whoever that is, if you're watching, I promise you I'll get right back to you. Anyway, we were talking about stretching, emotional stretching, and what we need to do to think better. Example, I talked last time about it's really more of a narcissistic thing to think about things we already know the conclusion. Why are we thinking about that? We already know the conclusion. But we tend to use that ability that we have as humans as kind of a relief when people are having bad days or they're having a bad life. You know, they tend to want to think about things that are more pleasant. Mm-hmm. And so, again, falls in the narcissistic category, but...
narcissistic, for those who don't really know that
well,
term.
It's kind of selfish.
Yeah.
And
you think you're great. Look in the mirror and
yeah,
love
that
yourself.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Totally not me.
First thing in the morning.
Is there an anti-narcissistic?
Hey, it should be. Yeah. But anyway, I just don't think we ever started out properly. I mean, I really and truly, and I'm not here to criticize anybody. I just think that, you know, the old story about the man and the woman come home from work and say it's his night to cook or something, and so he takes the ham and he cuts the end of the ham off, he puts it in the pan and into the oven. And his wife said, "Why did you cut the end of the ham off?" And he said, "Well, my mother always did that." And said, "Well, let's ring up Mom and see what." Okay, so they ring up Mom and why did you always cut the end of the ham off? And she said, "Well, my mother always did that." I said, "Well, let's ring up Grandma and see what's cooking." So so they rang up Grandma and said, "Well, Grandma, why did you always cut the end of your ham off?" And she said, "Because my pan was too small." Well, you see, at one time in history that made sense, but from there on out it didn't, and we're in that situation right now.
Speaking of the man cooking, I heard a funny thing the other day that no man was ever shot while washing dishes by his wife.
No, I'll bet not. That's probably true. It's probably a true statistic.
So wash your wife's dishes or your
yeah,
dishes.
do the dishes.
Do your own dishes. And
if you sleep with one eye open, by all means, do the dishes.
Yeah, do the dishes.
But anyway, so we continue to do things just because they've been done that way, and we always want empirical data. You know, it's like how do we prove that this worked? And so in schools, of course, we test kids and so on and so on and so on. The highest score to ever go into Harvard was homeschooled.
Wow.
That's a fact. And so, you know, it's different people have different needs. That's all there is to it. And we set up programs, so many programs for this particular problem. Now to the point where the other 90% or 85% of the kids who cause no problems and are no problems get less than the kids who are in the 10 and 15%. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm not suggesting it be one way or the other. I'm suggesting that it be that we address everybody and try to be as equal as we possibly can. One of the things that makes people think, and I mean makes people think, is trauma. It puts you in a state, in a physical condition, literally, where you are wide open. You're spontaneous, as spontaneous can be, because you don't have the ability to manipulate. Mm-hmm. You're just at the...
In the moment.
Yep. That's it. And
So trauma, you mean like a car wreck
Sure.
or you're injured or something like that?
absolutely. And so my suggestion, and I also said last time that it's about around 20 years old that our mechanism is really in place. It's fully grown. The brain is no longer a quarter pounder. It's 3 pounds approximately. And we have 15 billion brain cells approximately. And if you drink a lot, you probably have 100 or 2. And we can't afford too many more people drinking a lot, frankly. We need, we need to be safer, more secure, and so on and so forth. Well, anyway, if I were the czar, or if I was in charge of all education and social programs and so on, it would go like this. Every topic in the curriculum would come out of and go back into human development. Period. I don't care if you're teaching geography, and I've done this. I've done this for 30 years of teaching teachers. And it works, and they love it, and they use it. But they got little of it in comparison.
So like when you're teaching geography, you would also talk about how that affects you in your life and how important it is to know those, because you may travel there someday, you may be in the military, you may be posted somewhere.
That's correct. More likely, those people are going to come here at some point or another.
And we're going to be influenced by their
That's correct.
business.
And we haven't got a clue. But if they happen to have climbed the corporate ladder, we're going to wish we knew that. But more importantly, we need to get to know people as people and stop concerning ourselves with titles so much and status and so on and so forth. It's far more important at the end of the day that you love the person. Respect is kind of a natural byproduct of loving, or a part of loving, for sure. But so many people tend to respect people who very questionable. Quick story, I took a friend to see Sergio Franchi, an Italian singer. And I had just gotten out of the service, and it was huge money for me at that time, huge. And so I worked it out that this friend of mine could meet Sergio Franchi. So we were sitting at a particular place, and in walks the mob. Well, the mob,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. This was on the south side of Chicago, and so everybody's going. You know, guys were coming in with capes.
The Godfather.
There was a lineup of limos and whatever. And I leaned over to my friend and I said, well, I must be doing the wrong thing for a living. Did they do that when I walked in? And we laughed. Of course they didn't. And they're killing people for a living. They said, you know, there's some of that goes on. And
definitely some money laundering.
well, sure. And the respect that was shown was nauseating to me. Absolutely nauseating. But that's the kind of thing that we need to grow out of. I mean, we're still childlike when it comes to a lot of things.
I get on my soapbox with that with teachers and sports figures. We pay our teachers so little, they get so little respect.
Yes.
And these sports figures, you know, I don't even know any of their names because I'm not into sports, but some famous sports guy walks in the room and everyone instantly, yeah.
Let me touch them. Let
Yeah.
me shake hands with them or hug them or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, absolutely. Well, in education.
Oh, hang on. They're telling me it's time for a break, so we're going to come back and talk.
Okay.
Hang tight. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, and we're going to finish talking about a little bit more about education and some other fun stuff. So hang tight. We'll be right back.